Social media, only one word to describe it when you're on it.
Oh, the ghetto! The ghetto.
So, if you're new to this channel, I pretty much give advice and I talk about a lot of things that young adults struggle with. So, if your life is a hot mess, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Also, click that little bell icon to get notifications and like this video. So, I know the title of today's video is a little bit dramatic, but let me explain. Social media has pretty much been my entire life. So to start with my whole social media journey, I first joined MySpace back when I was like 11 or 12 years old. I then started migrating towards Facebook when I was 13. I think I got on Twitter when I was 14, a freshman in high school. I got on Instagram by my junior year of high school. Then I got to college and Snapchat was what was popping, so I got on that. And now I am currently on TikTok. And I also frequent Reddit a lot, even though some people think Reddit's not social media. It is social media. So like I said, every aspect of my life, social media has been there. And am I about to plug all my social media handles at the end of this video? Yes. What about it? But let me clue you guys in on something. Being on social media during my formative years may have not been the best idea. Like I've said many times, I often compare myself to other people. I know what you guys are gonna think.
Oh my gosh, Lucy, you say this like all the time.
And yes, I do, because it's an important part of who I am. And like I mentioned in the imposter syndrome video, it really does affect my life. Social media and comparing yourself are not a good mix. I didn't even realize how insidious it was. It'd be like I would scroll through my Instagram, see a picture of a girl with a really nice toned flat stomach, like it, not think much about it, but then later I'd be looking at myself in the mirror and be like, oh, I could get rid of some pudginess right here. Or I would be going through people's stories and seeing them partying and have fun, and I would think, like, why is my life so lame? Why am I so lonely? Not realizing that I have plenty of friends that I too also hang out with. And trust me, using social media and body image, it's such a, oh my god, it's such a toxic thing. You have so many people with that Instagram look. You know what I mean by that Instagram look, that racially ambiguous, but you know, taking features from other minority cultures, like, you know that look I'm talking about. And it's just like, you're very aware that you don't look like that. You know, I am very much black, you know? Then there will be so many different like companies marketing things and advertising things to you to make you feel, you know, that you need to be better. Like, you know, those flat stomach teas or whatever they're called. We do not need all that, you know, but you know, they have these celebrities with banging bodies advertising it to you, so you can be like, wow, I need to be like that. And I was a teenager in like the early to mid 2010s, and it was kind of rough back then, but I can't imagine what these like young girls are going through now to have to be exposed to all the Gigi Hadids and the Kylie Jenners of the world. And then let's also talk about TikTok. Like, TikTok is a big thing, and most of the popular TikTokers are gorgeous and fit into societal beauty standards. So I can't imagine also looking at all these like Charli D'Amelio's and just being in bed thinking like, wow, look at how all these people look, why can't I look like that? I feel like today's beauty standards, especially with makeup just being on the rise, I just can't imagine the social pressure now, because like I said, there was social pressure back then, but now it's like, by the age of 14, you know, you have people or young girls who like know how to do their makeup. Like, I couldn't imagine having to compete with all that when I was a teenager. So I can only just imagine how much social media is really messing with younger girls' heads. And the idea of it does really make me sad. And then let's not also forget about the side of social media that exposes you to a lot of negative opinions and just outright conspiracies. I mean, I'm specifically talking about Twitter when I talk about this. Let's not forget 45 and his little minions. It was like under every post you would see some kind of right-wing ideology or conspiracy, and it was just getting way too much. And then I remember last summer, if you guys all remember the events of last summer, just it would be like so heartbreaking to be under a post about somebody who experienced police brutality, to see posts about George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and for people to say some just nasty things about them, nasty things about Black people. It was just too much sometimes. And then there were times last summer that I know plenty of people had to take a break from social media because it was just too much. If it wasn't people, you know, saying derogatory comments about Black Lives Matter, it was just more videos of Black people facing brutality. And you can only see that so much on your timeline before it really messes with your head. And I would challenge y'all to think twice before you do retweet or post actual violence on your timeline. It can be very triggering for people, so please just think twice before you do it. But yeah, it was just a lot, and if you have never been from a marginalized group, I just don't think you would understand how disheartening it is. So imagine that there's like two sides of social media. The one that's glamorized and that makes you feel like you're not enough, and the part of social media that just is completely negative and just exposes you to so much discrimination. And it's not your fault if you get overwhelmed. I am a firm believer that we weren't supposed to be exposed to so many different opinions all at once. This is a pretty new thing. It's no surprise that with the uprising of social media that we've also seen an uprise in anxiety and depression amongst a lot of young people. There's this Netflix documentary that if you haven't watched, you should definitely watch it. It's called The Social Dilemma, and it specifically goes over how all these different social media websites like Instagram and Facebook, how they try to get you addicted to their social media site that were pretty much the products. That's how these tech companies get so much money. So you should definitely check that out if you want to see like how much of a control they have over our lives. And it definitely works. I will catch myself being in bed all day, scrolling through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and before I know it, my whole day is gone. And that's another thing. That's honestly the third thing I don't really like about social media. I put all this responsibility on myself, but it just takes up so much of my time when I could be doing things that are better for me. So one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because I actually read this book, How to Break Up with Your Phone by Catherine Price. It had a lot of good information in there to kind of not only get you unaddicted to social media, but to your phone in general. Of course, I won't tell y'all everything, you know, go support these authors, but I will tell you some things that I read in the book that definitely helped me, and I think it definitely changed my relationship with my phone and the apps that I use on it. So the first thing the book had me doing was just a lot of mindfulness practices. I had to challenge myself every time I picked up my phone. I had to think, why am I picking up my phone right now? And what am I going to do once I'm on my phone? Is there something else I should be doing instead of being on my phone? And I realized the more like I asked that question as I picked up my phone, it turned out that I wasn't doing much on my phone. I don't know, it's just like a tick to pick it up and just to quickly scroll through it. It made me more cognizant of why am I using this, especially if I had other things to do. Maybe I needed to quickly do something for work, you know, instead of just quickly like picking up my phone. Let me just get this done. Or maybe if I was feeling down, it made me realize that I go to my phone as a way to relieve that anxiety and to make me happier. Yeah, those are just some questions you can ask yourself every time you either pick up your phone or you go on social media. It also had you be reflective of your mood after being on some of your social media apps. You would have to ask yourself, how do I feel now? And honestly, sometimes if it was like I saw something funny, I'll be honest, I was like, you know, I feel good now. I got to see some really good content. But then I would notice about most of the time, I don't know, I would feel empty. But it was just being honest about yourself and monitoring your moods before, during, and after using some of these websites. So that is something that the rest of you guys should also do. After you use your phone, ask yourself, how do I feel? The book also encouraged me to get back into doing some of the things I really like to do. You know, like I said, I would be on my bed all day just being on the phone, pretty much just wasting the day away. And then I would notice like, oh, it's the end of the day and I didn't really get much done. So it made me actually challenge myself and hold myself accountable to doing things that I enjoy doing. So because of it, I actually got back into reading books. That was something I used to do all the time as a kid. Remember, we always used to read books. And it's just like, I don't know, something happens when you get to college and you have to read books because, you know, if you don't, you'll fail. That takes all the fun out of reading books. But now that I'm not in college anymore, it's like, I can read books again for fun. And I've been enjoying that. So instead of picking up my phone and using it for hours, I'll be reading books for hours now, and I really enjoy that. I also have a creative outlet now with doing my YouTube and editing videos. That takes up a good chunk of my evenings. So having the book actually challenged me to do that and just to like make sure I'm not on my phone when I'm doing any of that. I don't know, I feel so much more fulfilled. It just felt like a weight was lifted off my chest. And honestly, the book isn't telling you to completely cut social media off from your life. It's just trying to get you to have a different relationship with it. It gets you to realize how you're using it and why you're using it. So I can definitely say after taking the advice from the book, I definitely spend less time on social media and more time trying to do things that are meaningful. And I honestly do feel better. So I challenge those who are watching this video, if you don't want to read the book, just try those two things I mentioned, the mindfulness practices, and then preoccupying your time with other things that get you away from your phone. And I promise you, you will feel a difference. And I do feel kind of embarrassed that social media has such a strong hold on me. It's like, Boosie, grow some thick skin. But I know I'm not the only one who's experiencing this. And like I said, I just want other people to know that they're not alone in their struggles. And social media is meant to be addictive. So there's nothing to be embarrassed about if you think about it, because they market it to us so we will be on it all the time. And like I said, social media isn't a bad thing. People use it for their businesses. And people use it to connect. Social media, at the end of the day, can be a good thing. We just have to reevaluate how we use it all the time. So it definitely does have its positives. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you have ever felt like this, if social media is really getting to your head. Like I said, you can always message me and we can talk about it. So yeah, if you like this topic and you want to see more, like I said, subscribe to my channel, like this video. Like I said, there's so many things we face today as like millennials and Gen Zers, but we're in this together. So till the next video, lovelies, have a good day. Bye.